boutique go. I pack my things soon as you say, baby,
It's ladies' night, what? It must be Angie on the mic. The butter pea, honey, got it.
if I could take you home.
Take you home. I just stick eyes on me while I move my thing. Come on.
You hated Diddy at one point.
You said you
He
didn't
wasn't
like,
my
you
favorite
wasn't
person.
feeling it.
Plenty of people messed with him. I just chose to not because we didn't have the best relationship.
Because me and Mary have been friends for a really, really long time. Like, we started together. Probably in this business, and people I've met since I've been in this, she's probably my longest running friendship, my oldest friendship. Mary was already kind of popping. I got an eviction notice on my door. Ooh. Now I'm already on the radio. People know me already. I'm on the radio. I'm getting evicted from my apartment many years ago.
Wow. Do you remember how much your rent was?
Well, I want to say it was $1,400 a month at that time.
3 years ago, car crash, injury to your spine, grueling rehabilitation, getting back. What did that experience
Changed my life.
change your life?
Let's talk about the voice of New York, Angie Martinez, a name that's basically synonymous with hip-hop royalty. This Puerto Rican-American powerhouse has worn more hats than your average music mogul. She's been a radio icon, a rapper, a podcaster, with the Angie Martinez in Real Life podcast. Chapter 1, We're All Going to Die, and even an actress. But don't let her smooth transitions fool you. Her story is as layered as the beats she spent decades spinning. Angie Martinez, born on January 9, 1971 in Brooklyn, New York, is a cultural icon whose journey from rebellious to influential media personality has inspired countless fans. With roots tracing back to Puerto Rico, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic, Martinez was raised in a lively multicultural household by her single mother. Moving between Brooklyn and Washington Heights during her teenage years, she had her share of wild moments, skipping school, hanging out with friends, and soaking up the rhythms of the streets. Recognizing that her daughter was heading down a rocky path, her mother made a life-changing decision. She sent Martinez to live with her in Miami, where her mother eventually relocated and took on the role of programming manager for the city's radio station, WPW. This move proved pivotal for Martinez's future.
Well, you know, when you're a kid, your biggest role model is the person in front of you all day. And I grew up like in a house with just me and my mom. So she was my first point of reference for anything. I had that insight of just the other side of radio, even from a kid, just because I've always heard that from her. So then you mix my love for hip hop, because I was such a hip hop kid, obsessed, and then my also kind of comfort in the radio space. And I think that that's what were the beginnings, like were the seeds for my career.
That first internship happened not in New York, but in Miami.
Well, I was hanging out in the, the handball courts, but I just was not into school. I was into music. I was into like hanging out, playing handball, anything tomboy. I was into clothes. I was into all of that except school. And so my mother found out eventually, and she was like, she shipped me to Miami. And then while I was there, I started interning at 16 for the radio station there. So my mother sent me to live with my aunt, then came down, and she got a job as music director at Power 96 Miami.
At just 15, Martinez broke into the world of radio when she landed an internship at Hot 97 in New York City, a station known for urban music and influential voices. It wasn't long before she became the protege of legendary DJ Funkmaster Flex.B. Via the late 1980s, she was co-hosting the Afternoon Drive, interviewing major artists like Jay-Z, DMX, and Mariah Carey, and building a name for herself in the industry. Despite occasional clashes with radio rival Wendy Williams, Martinez's charisma and talent kept her in the spotlight. After nearly 20 years, she left Hot 97 in 2014 and soon joined Power 105.1, continuing her reign as a top radio personality. That same year, Jay-Z signed her to a management deal with his Rock Nation label, solidifying her status as an influential figure in both radio and entertainment. Her accolades include winning the prestigious Marconi Radio Award for Major Market Personality of the Year in 2018 and being inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame in 2020. Beyond radio, Martinez is celebrated for her ventures into music. In 1996, hip-hop legend KRS-One encouraged her to try her hand at rapping, leading to her guest appearance on his track Heartbeat. The momentum carried her to work with some of the biggest names in the game, including Lil Kim on the 1997 remix of Not Tonight, a track that went platinum and peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I just loved the music, and I got a job answering the phones, driving the street team vans. Eventually, they'd let me talk here and there.
Her debut album, Up Close and Personal, featured guest spots from Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, and Mary J. Blige, showcasing her versatility as an artist. Although it charted at number 32 on the Billboard 200, its impact was felt across urban radio. She followed up with Animal House in 2002, a more polished project, the hit number 11 on the Billboard 200 and included the top 20 hit, If I Could Go, featuring Sakari and Lil Mo. Despite stepping back from music in 2003 to focus on her radio career, Martinez continued to leave her mark, appearing in videos and collaborating with various artists.
I've been working, I got people, I care about the people I serve. I don't really care about awards, but I went to a school, a broadcasting school, black and brown kids in there. I look up at the wall.
Your mother was in radio as well.
My mom's in radio. I look up at the wall, it's all the Hall of Famers, and there ain't nobody up there that look like me.
Wow.
And that was the day I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not even about a piece of this for me in my house, which is nice. People come over, people
and I drink it all
salute
the
you,
time.
people put it in front of your name, Radio Hall of Fame, and I'm like, that's nice, I appreciate it. But the dope is that when you go to a broadcasting school, there's a Puerto Rican girl up there on the wall, you know, Bob Hope, Angie Martinez, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm humbled and I'm thankful for all the people who voted for me. I'm grateful for it, but I'm just saying that's changed something for me. When I used to not give a about awards, it really did mean something for me to be in the Hall of Fame.
For nearly 30 years, Angie held court at New York's Hot 97, solidifying her status as the queen of urban radio. Then, in a plot twist worthy of a rap feud, she shocked fans in 2014 by jumping ship to rival station Power 105.1. Drama? Anyone? But her voice didn't just dominate them. Airwaves, she made waves as an artist too. Remember Lil' Kim's Not Tonight remix? Angie's feature on that track turned heads. She followed up with 2 albums, Up Close and Personal and Animal House. Although she officially retired from music in 2003, Angie hasn't slowed down for a minute. She had to survive rivalries, shady industry politics, and some jaw-dropping moments that she definitely didn't sign up for. Yes, you read that right, Angie Martinez once smoked, but don't call her a smoker just yet.
First of all, this book, My Voice, is amazing. Angie does not like compliments, okay? But this book is a testament and a documentation of a classic career and classic stories, and I love it.
And Envy
Instant
read the book, and he hasn't read a book in 15 years.
That alone is very exciting.
Yes, he read it. I'm gonna tell you why he read it. Cause me and Angelique came in here one day and we was like, yo, fam, Angie smoked.
It happened during her wild teenage years at her grandmother's house, when she was hanging out with a sketchy group of kids, thinking she was just smoking weed. She unknowingly inhaled something else instead, but Angie insists it was an accident, and thankfully, it only happened once. While she laughs about it now, you can imagine how much this tidbit shocked fans when she revealed it in her memoir, My Voice. As an employee at Hot 97, Angie experienced her fair share of office drama. A major incident involving the station centered around her alleged feud with radio gossip queen Wendy Williams. Angie may not have revealed everything, but everyone knows that. Wendy's tendency to cause trouble angered her. Their feuds behind the scenes became legendary in hip-hop radio. A terrifying event for Angie occurred in 2019 when she was in a major vehicle accident. She was severely injured with fractured vertebrae and a damaged lumbar spine.
It wasn't like, now I'm gonna be an artist. It wasn't that. It just was something that naturally just kind of started to happen. It felt like when I started in radio, where how I didn't know what I was doing, but I was trying and I was learning everything, and I just jumped in and got in. And granted, making music was way harder for me. Being on the radio was something that kind of just was very natural. It was natural to my spirit. It was even though I worked hard, but it still was a natural kind of fit. Making music was way harder for me, which is probably why that period of my story was a lot shorter.
Angie's sheer willpower and tenacity were on full display during her tough recovery, demonstrating once again why she truly is a survivor. Although Angie keeps her private life under wraps, we do know that she is a mother to a child named Nico from her relationship with Nokio, the Enid of Drew Hill. One of her best friends, Mary J. Blige, is also Nico's godmother. While her career was in shambles, Angie later revealed she was able to stay grounded thanks to her son and her close group of friends. Angie has always kept it real, even when the truth was a little messy. Take, for instance, her unexpected brush with rock bottom. In her recent book, she talked about how at the height of her career, she was living the high life, hosting radio shows, working every club gig, and making bank. But behind the glitz and glamour, Angie was falling into a dangerous habit of financial irresponsibility. She spent cash, like it was endless, barely checked her mail, ignored bills, and felt invincible. Reality hit hard when she was faced with an eviction notice and mounting debt. It was one of those, "What am I doing with my life?" moments. The woman who had formerly controlled the New York City radio waves found herself suddenly bankrupt. Angie showed no signs of embarrassment, whereas the rest of us would have.
We're ready, I'm on the radio. I'm getting evicted from my apartment many years ago. Wow. Do you remember how much your rent was? Yeah, it was, well, I want to say it was $1,400 a month at that time. It was a lot, but it was a beautiful building. It was like my first luxury building. I was doing it. Clearly, I couldn't afford it. Clearly, I was not ready. I had a BMW. I was like, you had a doorman, but I was young. I was just starting to get some bread, and I didn't know how to handle it, right? So I wasn't paying my rent.
Yeah.
And it was like one of my first apartments, and my first nice apartment. Anyways, I was getting evicted, and I called Mary, and Mary was in the studio, and she told me to come by the studio, and she took me to a check cashing place. She jumped in my friend's Honda. My friend had a Honda Accord. It was a beat up old Honda Accord. She was like, come pick me up in the studio. We went and picked her up in the Honda Accord. She got in the car. She said, go to the check cash spot. And she took us there. She gave me the money and she got me out. And she got me back in my apartment.
Hidden, she chose to accept responsibility for her actions and start over. She was brutally honest about those hard times, like how she had trouble paying her rent and had to borrow money from friends like Mary J. Blige, when asked how she became so close to Mary J. Blige said she found it easy to approach her for financial help. She revealed that they became close in the early 90s when both up. Their careers were booming. Mary was making waves in the music industry, and Angie was just starting to make her mark as a radio host. Despite Angie's embarrassment in approaching Mary for financial assistance, their bond remained strong. Mary J. Blige, who had supported Angie unconditionally, understood that their relationship would grow stronger as a result of Mary's vulnerability. Angie Martinez has always been a figure who stands her ground, even when it means butting heads with some of the biggest names in the industry. At one point, she openly admitted to hating Diddy, but it wasn't always about personal animosity. It was more about their professional differences. In her memoir, Angie dives into the tension that existed between them during their early days in the game. She didn't want to fake a relationship with someone she didn't click with, especially someone as larger than life as Diddy. She could feel the weight of his dominance in the industry, and while many other media personalities were lining up to kiss the ring, Angie refused to bend. She explains that Diddy's aggressive push for his own agenda often clashed with hers, creating major tension. But what people didn't know was that there was more to the story, like the time Diddy, in his signature larger-than-life style, ran up on her demanding her attention.
Feel like you've done anything wrong?
I did a lot of it wrong. Probably half the stuff I did is wrong. You know what I mean? But I believe in my heart I'm doing it for the right reasons. It might turn out wrong, but only reason is I didn't have no training. I'm training myself. I'm doing this hands-on. You know what I mean? You go from up and down, went to jail. I learn from my mistakes and I move on.
It wasn't an out-of-the-blue encounter, but the whole thing left her shaking her head. Angie doesn't mince words when recounting that episode, making it clear that while it could have been a headline moment, she didn't air it out for that drama's sake. She understood the power of keeping certain things private and was more focused on telling her story her way, without all the extra. Angie's career, however, wasn't defined by her feuds. It was also marked by powerful moments with icons, like her first big interview with Tupac.
We rolling? Are we on? How's my hair? Is my hair cute?
How's mine, Nicole? Am I okay? Well, I'm just a mess.
That interview was one for the books. Angie was still relatively new to the game, but Tupac's trust in her was evident. Their conversation was raw, authentic, and a pivotal moment for her. Angie wasn't afraid to ask the tough questions, and Tupac respected that. He opened up in ways that made listeners feel the intensity of his thoughts. That interview solidified Angie as someone who could hold her own in any room and cemented her as a go-to journalist for hard-hitting, authentic interviews. Angie would later reveal that she had always harbored secret intentions of interviewing Nipsey Hussle, but unfortunately, her wish never came to pass because he died before she could. She further revealed that his energy and vision spoke to her on a different level, and she wanted to give him a platform to speak his truth. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition, but Angie makes sure to pay her.
You know what upsets me is that I've been trying to reach Pac's mom for the past couple of months to try to figure. I've been trying to get with her to try to talk to her about a couple of things, about what her thoughts were. I really wanted to be respectful about however it comes out, and also she has the original. I put a note in there that Pac had sent me, and his mom has the original. So I was trying to get in touch with her for both of those things, and unfortunately she passed. So I'm not sure where it's gonna happen, but it just has to be respectful and done well at this point. It's been so long.
Now, you said you didn't want to put it out because you didn't want to cause problems, but then Pac and Big both got killed.
Yeah, but imagine they would have both got killed and I would have put it out. I would have forever held that. Did I have something to do with that? Is it because of I would have always worried. I'm so grateful that I didn't, because honestly, I would have lived with that forever.
Respects to Nipsey in her memoir, acknowledging his impact on the culture and the void his passing left behind. A T present. She still discusses real life with famous people like Mary J. Blige, Lauren London, and Kim Kardashian on her podcast IRL in real life. Angie's estimated net worth is $2 million, but her real value lies in her influence.
And there'll be a Tupac interview in here as well.
Yeah, that says a lot about your character, because I know for me, if that was me and I went out there,
you would have totally aired it
immediately. Let's go. I'm like, let's go. You won't believe what Pac said.
Here's the thing. I love that about you, and I respect different people's perspectives on how they choose to use their mics, on how they choose, because it's true. It's important to have different voices. What I've learned is that I can't bend myself to do what other people do. If I spent my day trying to be Charlemagne, I would fail miserably. And it took me a while to really appreciate my own and want to make sure that I'm always true to it. The Pac story
talked about his relationship with Faith, and you talked about that story.
That was one of the milder stories.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, one of the reasons I dreaded ever putting stuff out was because of how it would affect outside people that weren't involved.
She's the voice that shaped the narrative of hip hop for nearly 3 decades, and she's still going strong. Whether you know her from Hot 97, her rap tracks, or her no-holds-barred interviews, Angie Martinez is a legend who will be remembered for breaking barriers and keeping it real. Well, that brings us to the end of today's video. Kindly give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more engaging videos like this. We can't wait to see you in the next video.